You're watching KSL Sports Live.
Well, happy Saturday, everyone, and thanks for keeping KSL Sports Live in your weekend plans. We've got a lot to get to over the next half hour. BYU's Jaxson Robinson and Weber State's Dillon Jones at the NBA Draft Combine, how they did. NHL Utah's goalie Connor Ingram is the recipient of a major NHL award. He will be joining the show. And it's state championship season in high school sports. The highlights and celebrations from baseball, softball, track and field, and girls tackle football. Yes, we have that too. Also, the top 100 players in BYU football history. That countdown continuing this weekend. But we want to start you off with Tony Finau over at the PGA Championships. Finau has 6 career wins on the PGA Tour. He's finished in the top 5 32 times, including each of the 4 major tournaments. But he just hasn't won that major title yet. After 2 rounds this weekend, he was only 4 shots behind the leader. Could he close that gap in round 3 on Saturday? After a bogey on the first hole of the day, he quickly rebounds on the par 4 second with this approach. And it can't get a whole lot better than this. Just inches away, he would easily birdie to fall to 9 under. He did go bogey on 7, then birdie on 9 and 10, and at this point he's in the zone. The 10-footer for birdie on 11 to the bottom of the cup. Then over to 12, he's putting from the fringe from more than 40 feet away, but he puts a perfect touch on it. It has perfect pace, and it equals a perfect result. 4 straight birdies. He's at 11 under par, tied for 4th at that point. Over to the 14th, Tony looking at a long uphill putt for another birdie. Didn't quite get enough gas on that one, so he would par that hole. He gave a shot back on 15, but on 18, looking at eagle. Great pace. Nice touch here. It's just a little too far to the left. Finau would birdie the hole. He finishes at 10 under through 3 rounds. He's 5 back of the leaders.
I feel like my head's still spinning. I can't really explain what happened this morning. I did spend some time stretching in a jail cell. That was a first for me.
Yeah, Friday was an absolute wild day for Scottie Scheffler, starting with him being arrested at the front gate of the golf club for not yielding to an officer who was diverting traffic due to an accident. Scheffler reportedly dragged the officer for around 20 feet as well. He was booked in jail, later released, and then he went on to shoot a second round 65 on Friday to put him at 9 under, just 3 shots back of the lead. You know, Scheffler has won 4 of his last 5 starts on the PGA Tour. Could he overcome that 3-stroke deficit on Saturday in round number 3? You've got to wonder if the events from yesterday were a distraction for Scheffler, because today he was off in the thick stuff on the second green, couldn't get out. And then on his next shot, he just overshoots the hole completely, had a double bogey. He's 2 over for the round, slides all the way back to a tie for 24th. The round of the day, it came from Shane Lowry. He had a massive surge up the leaderboard with a bogey-free round 9 under par. He came inches away from a 61 with a 10th birdie on the 18th right there, which would have been a major championship record. Lowry all the way to 4th place at 13 under. It's a neck-and-neck race between Xander Schauffele and Colin Morikawa, both with birdies on the 18th, both tied for first at 15 under par. The final round should be a doozy tomorrow, and Tony Finau is within striking range. All right, do you know who Paul Skenes is yet? Because you should. The number 1 pick in the 2023 draft made his 2nd career start on Friday and was untouchable. Skenes threw 100 total pitches in 6 complete innings, 0 hits. He also struck out 11 batters against the Cubs in his first career win. I should have just let him go for that no-hitter, am I right? You know, the Pirates, they could be a pretty sneaky team in the NL Central Division this year. They're 6.5 games behind the Brewers for first in that division. The Cubs, though, that's the team in between the two. And right now, the Pirates trying to gain ground on them. Game 3 in the 4-game series between the Bucks and Cubs. Top of the 4th, Cubs shortstop Miles Mastrobuoni with the sliding backhand grab gets the out. 9th inning, still scoreless. Check out this dad. My goodness, give him an award. Catches the foul ball while never releasing his child. Bottom of the 9th, Cubs' Christopher Morel hits one up the middle. Cody Bellinger rounding 3rd. We've got to play at the plate. Be safe. Pirates can't hold on to the ball. The Cubbies walk it off. All right, White Sox and Yankees. Juan Soto, have yourself a day. First inning, Soto with a solo shot to tie the game up at 1. Let's go to the 5th inning now. Soto again. Another deep shot to right, another solo homer. He goes 4 for 4 on the day with those 2 home runs, and the Yankees get the win 6-1. The Caitlin Clark WNBA Tour took its first stop in New York today. Fever against the Liberty. Second quarter, Clark Started to catch fire, hits the step back three. Next possession, Sabrina Ionesco. She knows a thing or two about hitting threes. Fakes Clark out, hits that three-pointer. In the third, Clark's going to do it again. The deep three. My goodness, she's so good. Clark finished with 22 points, but the Liberty, they got the win. How about the Sparks in Vegas taking on the back-to-back champion Aces? Third quarter, Asia Wilson goes up for the bucket and the foul. She finished with 22 points. Sparks' Derica Hamby gets the layup to go. She had 29 in this game. In the fourth quarter, Kelsey Plum fakes for the open three, gets it to go. Then Plum's going to find Jackie Young, and she dials one up too. Young finished with 22. The Aces get the win 89-82. If you didn't see this on Friday night, well, check this out. A former Ute made some personal history in the WNBA. Lynx first-round draft pick Alyssa Peely getting her first career bucket, a third-quarter three from the corner. The bench loves it. Then a few minutes later, she's going to get another bucket, the hoop and the harm. She had 5 points in her home debut, the beginning of what hopes to be a long WNBA career. All right, 78 players were invited this year to the NBA's draft combine. Players go through drills, they get their official measurements taken, medical exams, team interviews, and 5-on-5 scrimmages, of course. That all makes up the evaluation process for these draft hopefuls. 2 locals were among those who got those invitations. Weber State's Dillon Jones has been graded anywhere from a late first round to mid-second round draft pick. His game tape doesn't lie, but neither does his combine results. He averaged 6.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists in those 2 scrimmages, but he only shot 25% from the floor and missed all of his 3-point attempts in those scrimmages. BYU's Jaxson Robinson entered the transfer portal before attending the NBA draft combine. He can still withdraw his name from the draft and return to college if he chooses. The Big 12 Sixth Man of the Year averaged 11 points per game in the scrimmages at the combine, but he only shot 30% from the field and 25% from three-point range. He has until May 29th to decide if he wants to remain in the draft or not. All right, back on March 9th, a 70th minute goal gave the Colorado Rapids a 2-1 win over Real Salt Lake. That was more than 2 months ago. That was also the last time RSL has lost a game. The hottest team in the MLS, now also the first place team in the Western Conference standings. Real Salt Lake picked up 3 big points at America First Field on Wednesday in a 2-0 win over the LA Galaxy. Goals from Andres Gomez and then Diego Luna in that game. It marked just the 3rd game all season that Chicho Arango was not a part of any RSL scoring. 9 straight games now without a loss. They'll try to make it 10 straight tonight when RSL gets that revenge game against the Rapids. And confidence, it's riding high for this club. What is it about this team right now? 9 straight matches where you guys have not lost.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the dog, right? We're just everyone here is working for each other, and we're just dogs that want to keep winning. And I think that's just the DNA in our squad, and we're not gonna stop. I think it's just working for each other on and off the ball, and that leads to our quality showing.
The Gray turning for home in front. Mystic Dan confronts him, catching freedom, now right behind, then swinging to the outside. Sees the Gray, is still there. Mystic Dan bearing down on the outside. Sees the Gray, won't go away. Mystic Dan catching freedom, moving down the center of the track. But Wade Lucas has done it. Sees the Gray, wins the Preakness. Oh my!
Someone get that guy a lozenge. The second leg of the Triple Crown, the Preakness Stakes. Mystic Dan, the winner of the Kentucky Derby, was the 2-1 favorite, but he was outkicked down the stretch by Sees the Gray to win the Preakness. The NBA draft coming up in just over a month from now. BYU's Jaxson Robinson, Weber State's Dillon Jones are in that draft combine. We talked about that just moments ago. It's time to raise those trophies. State championships being won in baseball, softball, and in girls tackle football coming up.
50, 40, 30, 20, Jamal Willis.
The next installment in the top 100 players in BYU football history is out. Who made the list between numbers 50 and 26? We'll show you next. State baseball title comes down to a best-of-3 championship series between Snow Canyon and Dixie High School. On Friday, It was Snow Canyon scoring 3 early runs on their way to a 4-2 win in Game 1. They can close the deal in Game 2 on Saturday. 5th inning is where we'll pick this up. Dixie down 3. A shot to left center. Could be extra bases, but Dillon Hansen, can you believe that catch? He doesn't even believe it. Snow Canyon closing the door on a strikeout to get the game and clinch the title. Ryder Harrison with 5 RBI for the Warriors, leading them to the state title.
And that's always what you want, right? Come up with a bases loaded RBI situation. So I just try to keep it simple, hit a line drive, and good things happen.
When you're here all 4 years as kids and you're thinking, man, I can't go 0-3 in the last 3, and a lot of them didn't even play when they were freshmen, but were on the field and cheering for their teammates, and so to get this one for them was awesome.
In the 4A State Softball Championship, this one featured Ridgeline, who won Game 1 over Desert Hills, looking to get this title in Game 2, 5th inning. And Wallace hits the homer to center, 2-run shot. Ridgeline's up 4-2. Next inning, Wallace again down to left. 2-run double at the track. Ridgeline winning the state title 8-2 over Desert Hills.
Comes in after that happens and things are there, and she goes, we got this one. We got them right where we want them. And so that's what you got, is a kid like that. Comes, hits a bomb, and then after that she hits another double down the gap. So that's the kind of kid that you have that goes and competes in that level. So she picked us up, all of us. Love it.
Gatorade bath. All right, you know, to the state track and field championships, they took the stage down at BYU, and the times on the track were blazing fast on Saturday. We'll start with the 4A girls 100-meter finals, and this was a photo finish. Olympus' Susie Harris and Timpview's Katie Hutchings both finished with a 12.42 time. They went to the thousandths of a second, and Harris barely came away with that state title. In the 5A boys 100-meter race, another close one. It was West Jordan's Dominic Overby edged out Maple Mountain's Banks Jaxson. Woods Cross's Daniel Chase as well. He wins with a time of 10.54 seconds. And in the 6A boys 100-meter finals, Corner King star wide receiver Jerome Miles, how about 10.36 100-meter? That breaks the previous state record held by Cody Hoffman. It's the fastest, Cody Hagan actually, it's the fastest 100-meter time in any classification. Girls tackle football is not a sanctioned sport by the Utah High School Activities Association, but it might get there someday soon. The Utah Girls Tackle Football League began in 2015 with just 50 girls. Well, now, 9 years later, more than 600 girls play. And today, the high school age groups, Division I and Division II, played their state championship games up at Rice-Eccles Stadium. The Division II championship game was played between the Canyons and the Harriman Mustangs. The Canyons Ohana came out of the gates quick thanks to Cadence Ward, taking the reverse to get Canes on the board first. They led 13-0 early. Then in the third quarter, after Harriman made it a 6-point game, Ward goes 81 yards for the touchdown. She had 3 touchdowns in the game. What a performance. The Canyons, runners up in the last 3 state titles, they come away with the championship this time.
Pretty amazing, and it's my last game with a few of these girls, and I have to say it feels really good to end on a win.
We knew what we wanted to do, and we knew that we were going to do it, and we just were not going to look back. This was our game, our field. Ohana Stadium, thanks for Rice-Eccles loaning it to us, but now it's ours, and yeah, they weren't going to take it from us this year. Yeah! We're Team Ohana, and we're here to stay!
In the Division I championship, it was Riverton who had just one win last season. Now in the championship game this season against West Jordan, second quarter, under a minute to play in the half. Riverton's defense coming up big with the interception and taking it all the way to the house for the score. They weren't able to convert the extra point in the fourth quarter. West Jordan trailing 13-7. The Lightning's quarterback on the keeper ties the game at 13. The extra point would give them the lead. breaking a tackle in the backfield to get it in, and that's the game-winning conversion. West Jordan winning the D1 championship game. Congratulations to all those girls. You know, when the college football season kicks off this fall, it will mark the 100th season in BYU's history. So, of course, to commemorate, KSL Sports BYU insider Mitch Harper has been releasing the top 100 players in BYU football history. This week's installment, players ranked between 50 and 26. And at number 50, one of the flashiest ball carriers in BYU history, both on offense and as a running back and on special teams in the return game. Vi Sikahema set the NCAA record for return touchdowns while at BYU. Maybe the most memorable came in the Miracle Bowl against SMU, an 85-yard touchdown in the second quarter of that game. BYU was always quarterback U, but in the early 90s, they had a special running back in Jamal Willis. Willis rushed for 1,000 yards as a sophomore and then another 1,000 as a senior. Finished with 2,970 yards rushing and 1,095 receiving yards and 40 total touchdowns. Willis ranks number 34 on this list. At number 26, quarterback Steve Sarkisian. Sark was a JUCO transfer, started 2 seasons for Lavelle Edwards in 95 and 96. In 96, he passed for over 4,000 yards and 33 touchdowns when the Cougars finished 14-1 and ranked number 5 in the country, which featured a win over Kansas State, of course, in the Cotton Bowl. If you want to see this complete list, players ranked 100 through 26, just check out Mitch's rankings over at KSLSports.com. You know, when Ryan and Ashley Smith brought an NHL team to Utah this spring, they also brought a remarkable goaltender who has become a role model for speaking out and seeking help with those with mental health struggles. Connor Ingram has had his own obstacles to overcome. With the help of the NHL's Player Assistance Program, Ingram was able to receive the attention and guidance needed to manage his OCD and depression. This week, he was recognized as the NHL's Bill Masterton Trophy winner, an award given to the player who demonstrates the best qualities of perseverance while being dedicated to the game of hockey.
You know, having your name on any NHL award is a huge honor. So here, give respect to the other 2 guys that were nominated with Freddie and Oliver in Calgary. And like I said, to have your name on any NHL award is a huge honor. And I don't think there's any words you need to put after that.
What do you think this award, what kind of a message does this award send to other people that are struggling and maybe are afraid to reach out for help?
Yeah, you don't do these things to win awards or to have the recognition. You know, at the time I was just trying to put my life back together. I don't think I'd played an NHL game even when I went into the program. So that was a distant thought and a long ways in the future. And I was just trying to get my life back on track. I think now if people read this or watch this or however they may do it and they decide maybe it's time for them to get some help, I think that's all you can do in this. And what I went through wasn't special. I have OCD, I have a little depression, and I think a lot of people in life go through that. And there's going to be a time when you don't want to get out of bed or things scare you that shouldn't. And I think those are the times when people need help. And I think people should be willing to get help and to ask for help and to have that open door or know that someone's always going to answer the phone is just a huge step. I didn't know the program existed. The program isn't available for players in the American Hockey League. I'd never played an NHL game, and I was on a taxi squad at the time. And that's the only reason I got access to it. I didn't know it existed. I'm sure you read the story. I wanted to walk away from hockey, and I said, let's get your mind right before we do that. So that's how it happened. I think it was about 10 in the morning. I was on a flight from Dallas to Los Angeles at noon. So it all happened fast. And as for any employer, I think, like I said before, people are going to go through this. There's going to be days when aren't good. And I think the world has taken a big step in understanding. But I mean, if you break an arm and want a day off work, I don't think anybody's going to question it. So if you need a day to get your mental health right, I think it should be right up along there with it. For the first time in my life, I have a clear head, and goalies are late developers, and I think I got my first shot at 24, 25, which, looking back at it, was probably pretty early for a goalie. And luckily for me, I got two more years left with Utah for sure, and then hopefully we can tack a couple more on there. So I think we're just getting started.
Opened up its 5v5 season this week. KSLSports.com reporter Chandler Holt introduces us to the team.
We're here at the Jazz Gaming Studio in Delta Center. Let's go meet the guys. I'm here with the head coach of Jazz Gaming, Jelani Mitchell. Jelani, the Jazz Gaming season just got kicked off. Can you sort of tell us more just about the 2K League and Jazz Gaming?
Sure. Jazz Gaming is the official NBA 2K affiliate of the Utah Jazz. We have 5 players that we have here housed in Salt Lake City, and we face up versus other NBA teams and 2 international. Currently, right now, our 5 players, we have Christopher Stewart, who's Fiend, who we drafted number 9 this year.
Top throws the backdoor right back to Fiend with the reverse slam.
We have Leighton Mello, who we picked up in the ad drop recently.
Now they get it to Mello. Mello deep 3. Another one.
We have Kaze the Lock at small forward, who goes by TJ Petruzzo.
It's Miami back down to Kaze, the front court duo.
Power forward, we have Miami.
Of this first half, or excuse me, last 2 minutes of this third quarter, as Miami gets the fading 3 to
and at center, we have Spencer Wyman, who was our number 1 pick in season 2.
The grenade, Rhea flies in for the rebound.
We always look on trying to be better than last year, for sure. And currently, we have a very young team, but we're coming together well on the court. We play Wednesday through Friday on Twitch or YouTube TV, NBA 2K League.